Brethren, the presentation that I've taken from Solomon today is entitled The Arms of the United Grand Lodge of England. Before giving the presentation, when I've finished, can I suggest that you look up this presentation on Solomon, where you will find a particularly good illustration of the arms, courtesy of the Library and Museum of Freemasonry. Arms were in use by Freemasons for a very long time, before occasion was taken to apply to the College of Heralds for a proper grant. It was not until 1919 that they were officially granted, with a further addition made 14 years later. In the arms, two cherubims stand one each side of a large shield, whose border has lions on it. The quarterings on the shield are, on the left, 3 castles and a chevron on which is a pair of open compasses. On the right are the 4 quarterings of a lion, an ox, a man, and an eagle. Above the shield is the Ark of the Covenant with cherubim, and over the ark is Hebrew lettering. At the foot of the whole device is a scroll bearing a Latin motto. Let us first take the shield. Its quarterings are derived partly from the arms of the Premier Grand Lodge and that of the moderns, and partly from the arms of the Grand Lodge of the ancients. The castle, chevron, and compasses were adopted from the original arms that were granted to the London Company of Freemasons in 1472. The castle is a device commonly found in heraldry, and it is said that the 3 castles signify the Trinity. There is much doubt about that, however, for we find 4 castles in an engraving of the London Company's arms in 1677. Originally, in the company arms, the castles were much more obvious castles, complete with iron gates, but in course of time they became the simple towers we now see on the shield. In the company's arms, the chevron, which is now quite plain, was originally engrailed. That is, it had indented or serrated edges. Originally, too, the company's arms carried the motto, God is our guide, altered by the time the engraving of 1677 was made to, in the Lord is all our trust. This, however, was altered back again to the original motto late in the 19th century. Both of these mottos carry a great significance for the initiate, who quite early in his career is required to affirm that he puts his trust in God. After the union of 1813, the arms of the 2 Grand Lodges were combined, but the castle, chevron, and compasses represent all that survived of the arms of the Premier Grand Lodge. It was the ancients who had adopted, years before, the device of the lion to represent strength, the ox patience and assiduity, the man intelligence and understanding, and the eagle promptness and celerity. 4 emblems which reveal to us that to the S, the royal arch was the integral part of the order. In the year 1675, a Spanish Jew, Jacob Yehuda Leon, exhibited a model of King Solomon's Temple in London, which attracted considerable notice. Lawrence Dermot, the alert secretary of the Ancients Grand Lodge, examined this model about 90 years after its first exhibition, and perceived a strange coat of arms, which he promptly availed himself in settling the arms of his Grand Lodge. Around the shield is a wide border carrying 8 lions. This was added in 1910 to commemorate the long association of King Edward VII and other members of the royal family with the Grand Lodge. The Hebrew lettering over the Ark of the Covenant is Kodesh la Adonai, that is, holiness to the Lord, the full significance of which we learn in Exodus 28, verse 36, whilst the scroll at the bottom of the arms carries 3 Latin words, Orde, Vide, Tace, which may be translated, Hear, see, be silent, and is part of the leonine or rhythmic motto of a type fashionable some hundreds of years ago. Orde, vide, tace, si vis vivere in pace, translated as, hear, see, be silent, if you would live in peace. The castles, cherubim, and compasses have been repeated many times in the arms of operative and speculative Masonic bodies, and we find the cherubim and ark in the arms of the other Grand Lodges. For example, the Irish Grand Lodge retains the cherubim and ark and includes the national harp in the scroll underneath, but its shield does not preserve the castles and chevron, whereas in the arms of the Scottish Grand Lodge, the shield carries the familiar castles and chevron in addition to the cross of St Andrew. But there is no place for the cherubim and ark. If you look at the front bar of Freemasons Hall, London Road building, you will find the grant of arms to this province from the College of Heralds. Take some time to read the explanation. Brethren, that completes the presentation, which I hope you found of interest. Thank you for your very kind attention.